और आज हमारे ये सत्संग को आगे लेने के लिए मैं अभी नरेंद्र जी को बुलाना चाहूंगी। Narendra Murty. He is a full-time writer with 6 published books and numerous articles, and also working as a research associate with BhāratShakti of Sri Aurobindo Society, Pondicherry. He is retired as divisional manager from the life insurance industry. आज नरेंद्र जी हमें बताएंगे द 3 ways ऑफ द लॉर्ड। प्लीज वेलकम नरेंद्र जी।
Namaste to everyone. Thank you, Biswajita. The subject of my talk is the 3 ways of the Lord. So what do I mean by that? Sri Krishna, Biluji and Charan Singh ji both have spoken about the connection between Sri Aurobindo and Sri Krishna. I would focus exclusively on Sri Krishna uh, because today is Janmashtami, and since they are speaking on Sri Aurobindo, I chose Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is a glorious trinity of power, knowledge, and love. These are the 3 ways of the Lord. When we say the personification of power, it is the Kriya Shakti, the power through which he acts. And when we talk about Jnana Shakti, knowledge, the power through which he teaches the world. He is Jagat Guru. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. In the Gita Dhyana slokas, that slok is there. And love. He is all loving. He is the personification of love, prema, bhakti. So he is the all-knowing, all-loving, and almighty. Those are the 3 ways of the Lord, which have been demonstrated in the various phases of his life. His life also has 3 phases where these principles have been demonstrated. There are overlaps, definitely there are overlaps, but broadly, the 3 phases are very distinct. So when work becomes divine-oriented, it becomes karma, which Krishna displays in his own life through his actions. When consciousness is seeking knowledge, when it is going towards knowledge, it is Jnana Yoga, which again demonstrated by Krishna. And when this sense of delight in the things of the world, the pleasure that we derive from things and from people and from relationships and love, when that is directed towards the divine, then it becomes bhakti. And that is bhakti yoga. So in the 3 phases that I'm talking about, in the Vraja Leela or the Vrindavan phase of his life, Krishna reveals himself as the all-loving, the personification of love and bhakti. The Upanishads say, and the Vedic and Upanishadic view is, the basis of this existence is rasa and ananda. Without that, the nectar of bliss, no one can live. In spite of hundreds and thousands of miseries, we refuse to. If death is given as a choice, we won't choose death. We would still choose life in the midst of thousands of miseries. Because somewhere the experience of living itself is joyful. Joy and delight is the basis of the entire existence. Raso Vaisaha. That is what has been said in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So in the Vraja Leela or the Vrindavan Leela of the Lord, this principle of delight has been expressed. And the whole story, if you follow the story which is given in details in the Bhagavad Puran, the whole story is about how it was a festival of joy in Vrindavan when the Lord was there from his very cradle, and all his teenage pranks and all that, all those things he did, sucking out the light of life from Putana's body and all that, different leelas, Kalyadaman, holding up the Govardhan mountain, all those things. The Lord is coming across as a personification of joy, delight, and laughter and love. And the flute, the flute the flute of Krishna, it is so intoxicating. The description is when Krishna played his flute, not only the gopis who were immersed in love for him, but even the animals and birds, the plants, the trees, all living beings of Vrindavan, they were hypnotized. And the symbolic meaning of Krishna's flute is the divine call. The divine himself has come down, and it is his call to his devotees through the medium of love. The call of the Krishna's flute is actually the divine call, and nobody could resist that. I'll read a small quote from the Uddhava Gita. We all know about the Bhagavad Gita, which is there in the Mahabharata. The Uddhava Gita is in the Bhagavad Purana. There, Krishna is describing to Uddhava, who is also his disciple and close friend, like Arjuna, and Krishna is saying about the love of the gopis. See, Uddhava, the gopis were completely absorbed in me. They forgot their own near and dear ones, including their parents, husbands, and children in their absorption in me. The way the rivers merge in the sea and lose their identity, and the rishis merge their being in the Brahman, in a similar manner, the gopis too lost their identity in me. They rose above all sense of virtue and sin. The gopis forgot about everything and they absorbed themselves in their love for Krishna. And it has been said, in the olden times, the rishis who attained impersonal union with the Brahman, like the merging of the Jivatman with the Paramatman, dissolving in the Brahman, they they wanted to enjoy the joys of union with a personal God by relating to him. They were born as gopis in Vrindavan. That kind of love, how did it come about? Because they were rishis who did sadhana to experience this love of the divine, having a personal relationship of love with him. It was the rishis that incarnated as the gopis. That is one of the accounts that has been given to experience the delight and bliss of union with the Lord. And the dance of Rasa Lila as we know, that is the dance of ecstasy, of union with the divine principle. And this, what has been written in the Bhagavad Purana, it's a philosophy of love. Bhakti yoga shown, but it's a philosophy of love, and it has no parallel anywhere in the world where love is the path towards the Lord, and with concrete examples how the gopis related to Krishna. There has been another interpretation also where we know the philosophy of Purusha and Prakriti. Krishna is the Purusha, and all the beings of Vrindavan, they were Prakriti basically. And that is the concept. The Krishna is the soul and they are the nature, the intimate connection between soul and nature. And there's a very interesting anecdote which I must share with you, where actually Krishna is the male principle and all other are female principles, even if he's a man. That is the nature of that union. Mirabai, she went to Vrindavan. Mirabai Mirabai went to Vrindavan, and there was one great devotee of Krishna called Rup Goswami. So Mirabai expressed her wish to meet Rup Goswami, and Rup Goswami said something like, "I don't see the face of Prakriti. How can I meet her?" I mean, she's a woman and she represents Prakriti, and I, being a man, I don't see the face of Prakriti. Hearing this, Mirabai rebuked him, saying, "Since when did Goswamiji become the Purusha? As far as I know, in Vraja, we are all Prakriti. Only Krishna is the Purusha. So even if a man is there, the Gopas, even for them, they are the Prakriti and Krishna is the Purusha. That is the relationship, the sweet, loving relationship with the Lord. You see, there is no motherhood without the child. And without the Jiva, there is no Ishvara. The Ishvara presupposes the existence of Jiva. So gopis are the Jivatman and Krishna is the Paramatma. So the Lord also takes delight in our love, in our relationship with Him. There's a beautiful song in Bengali which Tagore has written. I'll explain the meaning to you. Just one line I'm quoting. তাই তোমার আনন্দ আমার পর তুমি তাই এসেছো নিচে নইলে ত্রিভুবনেশ্বর তোমার প্রেম হতো যে মিছে. This is Tagore's lines. He's saying, because you also take delight in my love, you have come to me. Otherwise, my Lord, Tribhuvaneshwar, the Lord of the three worlds, your love would have been false. You would have been alone in this world without my love. Because you take love in my, because you take delight in my love, you have come to me. That is the sweetness of that relationship. So this is the Vrindavan phase of his life. And one may ask that one who is the Tribhuvaneshwar, the Lord of the three worlds, what does he need? Why does he need to come down to the world? Because he's Purna, he's Apta Kama. That means all his desires are already fulfilled. He requires nothing. But why does he come? Because it is his delight, it is his play, it is his lila. And that is why he comes, for the delight of his devotees. So that is the Vrindavan phase of his life where Krishna teaches love, bhakti yoga, joining to the divine through the path of love and devotion. Then we come to the Almighty phase, the power aspect of Krishna, which he reveals during the Mathura and Dwaraka phase, which actually starts with the slaying of Kamsa. If we take all the asuras he's killing in Vrindavan, there's a undertone of delight and whatever behind all that action. But things start getting serious after the killing of Kamsa. So he kills Kamsa, but he doesn't sit on the throne. He installs Ugrasena, the father of Kamsa, on the throne of Mathura. Then, after that, there was this problem of the arrogance, the power aggrandizement of the Kshatriyas, and they were all basically concentrated in Jarasandha. Krishna wanted to establish a Dharmarajya under the leadership of Yudhishthira. And when Yudhishthira wanted to perform the Rajasuya Yajna, Krishna said, you can't do that because right now Jarasandha is the emperor of India. So unless Jarasandha is removed from the path, you're doing the Rajasuya Yajna won't be right. So he has to be removed first from the path. And then you know the story, Krishna goes to Jarasandha along with Arjuna and Bhima, and Jarasandha, he had imprisoned 20,000 kings to perform a human sacrifice. He was doing some yajna and he wanted to kill 20,000 kings for his sacrifice. And Krishna gives the option that you release all of them, otherwise you die in battle with us. You can choose any three of us. And Jarasandha chooses Bhima. And I won't go into the details, all of you know. Bhima kills Jarasandha and Krishna establishes Yudhishthira on the throne. For the time being, the Asuric forces who were aligned with Jarasandha, they go into the retreat. But Shishupala was there. Shishupal was the Senapati of Jarasandha. And you know what happens. Shishupal insults Krishna and Krishna kills Shishupal. All that is part of this, the Almighty, the Kriya Shakti of Krishna, his manifestation of power. So those are the phases. But slowly, again, the Asuric forces, they start aligning with Duryodhana under the leadership of Duryodhana. And you know the corruption of the Kauravas and to what extent it went. The gambling game and the Draupadi's Chirharan and all that, all those things happened. And how the Pandavas were deprived and all that. Then again, Krishna, he understood that this alignment of Asuric forces, they have to be destroyed. And he was instrumental in destroying the Kaurava clan. But he always gave the enemies the option of a way out. He went as a peace envoy to the court of Hastinapur. He asked for 5 villages, 5 gaon de do, but you know the Duryodhana and all that, he said. And Duryodhana tries to arrest him. And he reveals his Virat form. That is all this is, Pratap, the Pratap of Krishna, the power aspect. Krishna shows his Virat form and everybody is terrified and all that. So finally, he he kind of manifests himself as Kala on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And there he shows Arjuna his universal form. And he tells Arjuna what fantastic lines and verses. Kalosmi lokakshaya kriti pravidho. I, as time, am the destroyer of nations. I am revealing myself as a destroyer of the nations. And this is my work. And he's telling Arjuna, even if you do not participate in the work, this work of destruction will be done because I am doing this destruction. Those are the kinds of verses that is there. And his, again, this aspect of power that I'm talking about, you know that when he first reveals that, as if 1,000 suns, Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhavet, Yugapad Uddhita, if 1,000 suns had risen all together in the sky, the translation is, if 1,000 suns were to blaze forth together in the sky, they would not match the splendor of the great form. This is chapter 11, verse 12, the Vishwarupa, that aspect. So he reveals himself as a mighty time and the force of destruction and all that. But all this, not for his ambition. He never enjoyed the what to say, the fruits of his action. It was always given to others. Jarasandha was killed, but he did not take Jarasandha's empire. He gave it to his son. Jarasandha's son was given the succession. So that is his, what to say, his neutrality as a lord. It was not never for his own. It was all done in a nishkama spirit. And what was his main work as the personification of power, Almighty? Vinash of the Dushkrita, Paritrana of Sadhu, Loka Sangraha for the greater good, Lok Shiksha, and finally Dharma Samsthapa, the establishment of Dharma. That is the aspect of his power aspect. And after that, the last phase of his comes as the Pragyanagana, the all-knowing aspect. And there are two main manifestations of that. One is Kurukshetra, in the Battle of Kurukshetra. He reveals himself as the giver of the Gita, Yogeshwara Krishna, and all those fantastic verses, And there's a specific verse in the Gita which says, I who dwell within the hearts destroy the darkness born of ignorance with the luminous lamp of knowledge. And this is what Krishna is saying, that I reveal to people their own self nature, and I express myself as knowledge. And those wonderful, verses of Gita, Karmanyadhikaraste, Yogastha Kuru Karmani, those wonderful. Prior to the Gita, karma was always seen as a, something detrimental to the path of knowledge. Knowledge was always linked with sannyasa. That if you want knowledge, you have to kind of give up the activities of the world and go into seclusion or a monastery or something. It is in Karma Yoga, he taught that working in the spirit of yajna, giving up doership, and also renunciation of attachment in work. What he taught essentially in Karma Yoga was not renunciation of attachment in work, not renunciation of work. So it was an internal attachment to the work that has to be given up, not the work. This emphasis was something very, I think it was, at that time, it was a radical departure, where karma itself becomes a path to the divine. But this was given as a teaching of the Gita. He rescued the human mind from the grip of sannyasavad or dukkhavad, that world is suffering, world is illusion. He rescued the human mind and showed it the path of karma yoga in the Gita. And of course, Krishna is telling Arjuna that not only do you have to fight, he's also telling Arjuna, you have to be a jnani, you have to be a devotee. And his final lesson to Arjuna is surrender. You surrender to me. I will take care of everything. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja. You surrender to me. I'll take care of everything. So these are the ways in which Krishna did his work, the three ways of the Lord, as I'm calling it, and that power aspect. Because if Kshatriya Tej is not in union with Brahma Tej, it becomes Asurik. We saw that in the case of Parshuram also. Parshuram avatar also came because of that. Kshatriya Tej was there without Brahma Tej. That is why Parshuram avatar had to come to kind of put an end to the Kshatriya arrogance and power. Then Sri Rama came. In that Rama avatar, Sri Ram showed what should be the ideal Kshatriya. He gave a role model for the ideal Kshatriya. And in the Krishna avatar, the main purpose of Krishna was to teach yoga, the next level of evolution. Role model, perfect role model, Kshatriya, given by Sri Ram. But the path of yoga, that was given by Sri Krishna, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Karma Yoga. All three were demonstrated in the three phases of his life. Bhakti Yoga in the phase of the Vraja and Vrindavan, the Karma Yoga in the phase of Mathura and Dwaraka, and Jnana Yoga in the battle of Kurukshetra, and Uddhava Gita, where he teaches Uddhava Gita, where Krishna reveals himself as a teacher, both in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, giving the Bhagavad Gita, and to Uddhava, giving the Uddhava Gita as the teacher, the all-knowing, the Pragyana Ghana aspect of the Lord. And the final verse of Gita, I don't know how many of you know that verse. Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra, because Sanjay has been narrating the whole thing. He is telling Dhritarashtra, where Yogeshwara Krishna is there and Partha Dhanudhara is there. There Sri Vijaya, all these things will be there. Kind of, Sanjay is warning Dhritarashtra. The game is over. I mean, I don't know what you're expecting. Here, Yogeshwara Krishna and Partha Dhanudhara are standing together. No chance for us. So game is already over. So Sanjay is kind of warning Dhritarashtra. So these are the three ways of the Lord, and where Krishna synthesizes the paths of karma, bhakti, and jnana. And I would say Krishna's path, the three ways, they were a forerunner to the integral yoga, which ultimately the other Krishna of the 20th century, united with the force of Krishna, he took it to the next level of integral yoga. So this is my offering for today. Thank you very much.
नरेंद्र जी, बहुत सुंदर, बहुत अच्छा लगा। धीरे धीरे आगे जाएंगे, अभी सेशन खत्म होने
हाँ,
थोड़ी देर बाकी है।
अभी मैं चैट में देख रही हूँ, कई सारे इंटरेस्टिंग एक दो क्वेश्चंस हैं। एक क्वेश्चन बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है चरण जी, आपके लिए है। आई थिंक असित जी ने कहा है, बट आई थिंक क्वेश्चन उनकी बेटी ने शायद है। असित जी, आर यू स्टिल विद अस? यस, वुड यू लाइक टू कन्वे योर डॉटर्स क्वेश्चन?
नमस्ते, आई एम राधिका।
Oh, you are there. Wonderful. Please, कहिए, आप अपना क्वेश्चन बताइए।
My question is that can India be Viksit by 2047?
ओके, बेलू जी, मैं इसका उत्तर देता हूँ।
कहिए।
राधिका, गुड टू हियर फ्रॉम यू। आप असित जी जम्मू यूनिवर्सिटी में हैं बेलू जी, और वहाँ पर श्री अरविंद का काम कर रहे हैं बहुत गंभीरता से
जी।
तो राधिका, मैं ये मानता हूं कि भारत विकसित ही है अगर उसने अपने आत्मा की प्राप्ति कर ली। तो भारत को जो काम करना है, निश्चित रूप से आर्थिक विकास का एक मूल्य है, और उस दृष्टि में हम एक माइलस्टोन रख सकते हैं कि इंडिया 2047 वो हमारी आजादी का 100 साल है। निश्चित रूप से माइलस्टोन रखे जाने चाहिए, संकल्प रखे जाने चाहिए। लेकिन अगर आप देखें तो इस दुनिया को जो आंतरिक सौंदर्य की दृष्टि से, सत्य की दृष्टि से, लोक मंगल की दृष्टि से, कॉस्मिक गुड की दृष्टि से अगर कोई मौलिक देन कहीं ने किसी ने दी है, किसी देश ने, तो भारत ने दी है। और भारत जो इतना महान देश है, जिसको श्री अरविंद ने कहा कि ये भगवान का संकल्प है, भगवान का हृदय है, भगवान ने अपनी लीला के लिए इस चतुर्युग में इस देश को चुना है। इसका पतन क्यों हुआ, इस पर उन्होंने बहुत ज्यादा फोकस किया, और उसका सुझाव भी उन्होंने दिया कि भारत को अपना आंतरिक स्वराज्य फिर से हासिल करना होगा, तभी जाकर के वो बाहरी स्वराज्य को हासिल करेगा। बाहरी स्वराज्य की दिशा में पॉलिटिकल फ्रीडम एक माइलस्टोन, एक मील का पत्थर हमको मिला है, लेकिन आंतरिक स्वराज्य जैसे मैंने कहा उसको बहुत कुछ अभी किया जाना बाकी है। तो मेरी अपनी ये सोच है, समझ है कि अगर भारत अपना आंतरिक स्वराज्य प्राप्त कर लेगा, जो उसको उदाहरण में श्री अरविंद ने बातें की हैं, और भी जगह उनकी जगह जगह उनके वंदे मातरम में, कर्मयोगी में, जगह जगह जो, और इवन दुर्गा स्त्रोत में, जहां जहां भी भारत बोध के सूत्र श्री अरविंद के हैं या उनका भारत को लेकर जो संदेश है, तो उस सबको जिस दिन भारत हासिल कर लेगा अपने भीतर से, तो जैसे बसंत प्रचारित नहीं किया जाता है, भीतर से उमगता है, आता है, बसंत जब आता है तो सबको खबर हो जाती, वैसे ही जब भारत वास्तव में अपने उस भारत बोध को हासिल करेगा, अपनी ज्ञान शक्ति को, चरित्र शक्ति को, जीवन शक्ति को, और योग और आध्यात्मिकता की पूरी खिलावट को जिस दिन हासिल करेगा, वो विकसित होने का एहसास हमको और आपको होगा। और बहुत सारे उसके सूचक हैं। हमारी नारी शक्ति की आप दशा देखते हैं सड़क पर आज, कोई भी आप निश्चित रूप से इसको महसूस करते होंगे कि विकसित भारत का एक पैमाना ये होना चाहिए जहां हमारे सामने शिवाजी जैसे आदर्श थे। बहुत बड़े बड़े उदाहरण हैं कि मातृभाव से आराधना करने का भाव स्त्री के प्रति था, प्रकृति के प्रति था, राष्ट्र के प्रति था। वो सारी दृष्टियां हमने खो दी। तो एक सूचक ये हो सकता है कि जिस दिन हमारी जो नारी शक्ति है, मातृ शक्ति है, जिस दिन हमारी प्रकृति शक्ति है, जिस दिन हमारी राष्ट्र शक्ति है, ये तीनों मुस्कुराएंगी, ये तीनों सुरक्षित महसूस करेंगी, तो हम महसूस करने लगेंगे कि हम विकसित हो रहे हैं। तो मैं मानता हूं कि भारत को अपना ही विकास करना है, अपनी आत्मा को फिर से पाना है, और निश्चित रूप से वो जो है विकसित है, उसको पश्चिमी मानकों के हिसाब से बहुत ज्यादा भी समय लग सकता है, क्योंकि हमारी अपनी कुछ आंतरिक चुनौतियां हैं, और बहुत जल्दी भी वो उससे हासिल कर सकता है, वो एक दूसरा पक्ष है। पर मेरी दृष्टि इसमें यह है कि भारत को अपने आप को हासिल करना है, और वो विकसित है ही। बेलू जी, आप कुछ इसमें जोड़ सकती हैं
नहीं
या
नहीं
नरेंद्र भाई?
नहीं, आई थिंक क्योंकि हमारे पास टाइम हमेशा कितना कम होता है, क्वेश्चंस हैं, सो बहुत अच्छे से आपने आई थिंक हम सबके भाव एक्सप्रेस किए हैं, सो वी कैन मूव ऑन टू मोर कमेंट्स एंड क्वेश्चंस।
Bijoy ji has raised it.
हाँ विजय जी, आप यस प्लीज।
Yeah, namaste. Thank you very much. I'm audible?
यस यस
Yeah. So nice. नरेंद्र जी, आपने जो परिभाषा दिया इंटीग्रल योगा का, बहुत ही अच्छा है। और बिल्लू जी और चरण जी, सी मैं आपने अभी जो परिभाषा दिया विकसित भारत का, इवन गांधी जी ने बोला था, जिस दिन हमारे माता और बहनें मिडनाइट में भी अकेले जा सकते हैं निर्भय होकर, उस दिन समझ लेना भारत विकसित हो गया। तो बिल्कुल नारी शक्ति का आपने बोला। तो मैं दो चीज पर बात करना चाहता हूँ। एक कि आपने डिस्कस किया कि ऑरोबिंदोस विजन ऑफ हार्मोनियस मटेरियल प्रोग्रेस विथ स्पिरिचुअल रिचनेस, so that is how Sri Aurobindo has envisioned about India. And you gave an example of smaller countries not having much military and material progress, also very happy and developed in their own way. So my understanding on Sri Aurobindo's thought on progressive India is four points. One is India's spiritual development. The spiritual foundation of India is very strong, and the further development should be rooted in own nature and ancient wisdom. That is point number one. Second point is the material development should not replicate the Western model. And third is India's growth linked to the global well-being. And the fourth and most important point what Sri Aurobindo has cited is self-sufficiency. So I will just, India is like Hanuman, completely forgetful of its own strength before meeting Ram. So we have strong spiritual foundation, but need million of architects, which will lead us towards self-sufficiency in all aspects, be it individual, societal, or the country as a whole. So I want to take a line, Sri Aurobindo's line. Sri Aurobindo's concept of self-sufficiency goes beyond mere economic or political independence, encompassing a deeper spiritual dimension. He advocated for national self-sufficiency rooted in a strong, self-reliant village system, and also emphasized the individual's need for inner self. Individuals' need for inner self-sufficiency through spiritual realization and a connection with their true self. This spiritual self-sufficiency, according to Sri Aurobindo, leads to a sense of liberation and allows for a more profound and fulfilling existence. So that is what even you discussed. So thank you very much. It is really, heartfelt happiness. Thank you all. And my sincere thanks, those million architects, who are those people? The people like you who are taking the thought process forward, like BhāratShakti, what work they are doing. Even I personally visited Pondicherry and saw, the kind of exhibition. See, it is unknown to us. You are bringing it to our thing. So thank you. So nice of you.
Thank you. I think मैंने कल नहीं सुनी थी प्राइम मिनिस्टर की स्पीच, आज सुनी, बहुत लंबी थी, आज भी शायद पूरी तो नहीं सुनी, बीच में थोड़ा फॉरवर्ड कर दिया, पर आज भी वो आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात कर रहे थे. पर आई थिंक जस्ट पिकिंग अप ऑन राधिका जी का भी जो क्वेश्चन था, बहुत सुंदर क्वेश्चन था विकसित का, और चरण जी ने कई तरीके से ये बात एक्सप्लेन की. लगता है आत्मनिर्भर के साथ साथ आत्मभर भी चाहिए, सेल्फ fulfilled, full of the true self, the power of the true self within. तो आत्मनिर्भर बट आत्मभर, जैसे श्री अरबिंदो एक जगह ईशा उपनिषद की राइटिंग्स में कहते हैं, नॉट जस्ट सेल्फ फॉरगेटफुल बट सेल्फ फुलफिल्ड. एक तरह पे वो जेनरोसिटी के एक्सप्लेनेशन में कहते हैं. तो शब्दों के फेर में ही मीनिंग बदल जाता है. आत्मभर, फुल ऑफ वन सेल्फ. Thank you बिजॉय जी for sharing. एक दो questions और हैं before we move on to more of our guests. गुराशीष जी और Raj और Atanu जी, if you are still with us, please ask your questions. Atanu ji, yes.
Atanu, do I continue, ma'am?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. My question is, before just one question, I wish to read Haim Durga Stotramu, Durga Haim to Durga Stotram, and Durga Tae Stuti. The 10th stanzas, it is Mother Durga, slay the enemy within, then root out all obstacles outside. May the noble, heroic, mighty Indian race, supreme in love and unity, truth and strength, art and letters, force and knowledge over dwell in its body. Holy woodlands, its fertile fields, under its sky-scraping hills, along with the banks of its pure steaming rivers. This is our prayer at the feet of our mother. Make this self manifest. Sir, my question to everybody, that how do we serve our nation, our world, mainly our world? Thank you.
Narendra ji, you want to take this question?
Well, Atanuji, we are all in this world, we are given a role to perform. And if we perform that role with total honesty and commitment, that is service itself. Like Arjuna, he was a Kshatriya, he was a warrior, and that role was his in the battle of Kurukshetra. But he wanted to run from that role. So ultimately, what is the gist of the Gita? That perform your role, perform your action. So whatever action, we have all been placed in the world to perform some role, perform some action. Let us do it with utmost sincerity, and commitment, with total integrity, without an iota of dishonesty or corruption in us. If we can do that, if I'll tell you all this, we may have a lot of theories about having a Viksit Bharat and all that. If only there's only one requirement. If we can make ourselves free of corruption, ourselves, let's not think about the world, just ourselves, that there won't be an iota of corruption in me. Whatever work I do, I may be inefficient in my work, but my sincerity has to be total. I may not be super efficient, I may not be highly skilled and all that, but whatever I do, it should be with total shraddha and sincerity. That is the best we can do. And if everybody has this thing in the nation, that nobody can stop that nation. That commitment that Charan Singh ji gave the example of Japan, that after being bombed by 2 nuclear bombs in 1945, they hosted the Olympics in 1964. How could a nation do that? Because Japan's work ethic was like this: 100% honesty, sincerity, and commitment. That is how a nation goes forward. Yeah.
Yes, and just to re-emphasize this point, when Mother was asked this question, what is the number one problem India faces? She said lack of sincerity. So that is the thing. So yes. Raj, are you
And
with us?
basically, one more interesting thing.
Yes.
The mother said only those who are already very sincere know that they are not fully sincere. That is
Yes.
also very interesting.
Very true. Very true. Yes, Rajji, if you want to please tell us your question.
Namaste, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. So, sir, namaste. My question is to Kedarkhandi, sir. Sir, you told that in the context of Bharat, to reclaim that identity of that spiritual land again, how should we address the challenges posed by certain forces or certain nations that their primary goal is to disrupt or hinder our journey of that spiritual progress? So, how should we address these constraints, sir?
Well, there is a line in Savitri: God's long nights are justified by dawn. India realized its independence only after 1,000 years darkness and dolor of perversion and poverty and trampling of the soul through different powers. I strongly believe that if every Indian affirms his or her faith in her roots, in Indianness, in Indian ethos, no external power will be able to destroy and disrupt us. Our real enemies, as Sri Aurobindo pointed out in his essays, in his series of articles long back in 1893 through Indu Prakash, that the real actual enemy of India is our cowardice, our hypocrisy, our extreme sentimentalism, and a couple of other things he mentioned. And these things are pertinent very much even today. If we are Indian in true spirit, if India is really running inside us, throbbing inside us, if we are working for the glory and greatness of India, as Narendra ji very clearly pointed out, sincerity, truthfulness to the cause of India and her greatness, there have been external challenges in every age, through different ways, but that could easily be tackled, trampled, if we are strong enough. Compare this with the human body of a strong man. He or she can strongly withhold outer diseases, outer attacks, and different challenges. And compare it with a weak body, weak constitution. One is easily devastated, one is easily defeated, one is easily contaminated by outer attacks. So we need to strengthen ourselves from inside, and we can easily take on outer threats. Thank you, Raj.
I would
Thank
like
you
to
so
add
much,
a little.
sir.
I would like to add a little bit to that. Yeah, yeah, Biluji?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, this what you talked about this threat to our whatever culture, identity, and all that. There are two aspects of it. Firstly, be aware of what we are, who we are, where we come from. So first learn, we have to uphold our civilization. like Sanatan Dharma. That is the root of India's spirituality and India's foundation, Sanatan Dharma. And Sri Aurobindo said it clearly in Uttarpada speech. When we say that India is to rise, it is Sanatan Dharma that is to rise. When we say that India is to become great, it is Sanatan Dharma that shall become great. So be aware of this reality about the intricate and intrinsic identity of Sanatan Dharma with the soul of India. Be aware of that, uphold Sanatan Dharma. Learn about Sanatan Dharma. We don't know enough about our Dharma itself. So know about Sanatan Dharma and uphold Sanatan Dharma. If you want to protect your civilization, your culture, your religion, your way of life, protect Sanatan Dharma. Uphold Sanatan Dharma. Always have Sanatan Dharma at your highest, as a priority. All else will follow from that. Yeah.
Okay.
May I add something, please?
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. Just
Yes,
my
yes, Shantaji. Yes, please.
Just an observation. Yeah, today's talks were all 3 yogas were explained. One, Karma Yoga by Charanjit C. That what should we do for the next experiences of Indians and becoming Viksit Bharat and mentally and spiritually. And the Bhakti Yoga was very well done by our Narendra ji, because he brought out the love factor of Sri Krishna. And Beloji brought out the Jnana Yoga, from where Sri Aurobindo got the Jnana from Sri Krishna. I think it is a beautiful culmination of all the 3 yogas today. And knowingly or unknowingly, we have been blessed with all the 3 yogas as an integral yoga. Just thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Very beautiful. I'm just a little rushing through because of the time. Gurashish ji, are you with us? Yes, you are. Would you like to ask your question? Can we? She is a research scholar at Central University of Jammu. Gurashish ji, would you like to speak?
I think Biluji, his question was answered in the beginning.
Her question was, Sri Aurobindo saw consciousness as ever evolving. What small steps can we take to become more conscious in our everyday actions? So yes, she asks the questions about sort of the practice of integral yoga. Is that, are you, okay, I don't know. So what small steps can we take to become more conscious? So first of all, I would just like very briefly mention, it's a 24-hour yoga in real time, in the sense become aware of each and every tiny movements within us. So why I feel this way, why I'm prone to react in a certain way. It's like, there is no respite, because in the sense it is yoga in life. So every step becomes a means of progress. So how can we become more conscious? By constantly observing ourselves, stepping back before taking a decision, before speaking, before acting on some impulse or any instinct that we have. But to really elaborate on your question says the word small steps, but to really elaborate on the practice of how we can be on this journey of evolution, it will be a very long, a whole webinar in itself, maybe several. But the easiest way Mother and Sri Aurobindo help us to practice this path is to open ourselves to the force of the Mother and call her, invoke her, so that she will take charge of our progress, inner progress. So by being at one place, Sri Aurobindo says the entire work of yoga is to give complete assent to the divine, so that divine takes our being and transforms it. Because left to ourselves, it is not a yoga that can be done by ourselves. And there are letters and letters of Sri Aurobindo where he's telling the disciple, who told you that you can do it? It's only the mother and her grace and her light and her force that can do it for you. So surrender, as the Gita also says, surrender is the beginning, surrender is the culmination. Yes, there is a role of personal effort, aspiration, but really surrendering to the light of the mother, opening oneself. And as I like to say it in my simple way, getting out of the way, keeping our ego out of the way. So there are going to be challenges in that process, but that's how you do it. In brief, I can only answer this much, but I don't know if Charanji or Narendraji or anyone else would like to add something to Gurashish's question.
You have made it already very clear, Beluji, and I think it is enough.
Okay.
The aspiration aspect should be also there. The
Yes,
thirst,
aspiration.
awareness also.
Bala has a
Absolutely.
question. Bala.
But before that, we have a question from
Sir,
Neha.
okay,
Balaji, just 1 minute, please. Neha, her question is, you talked about self-sufficiency, so how can we be that? Neha ji, are you with us still? Yeah, I see this real me. Yeah. So anybody would like to take up this question about how will we become self-sufficient?
Self-sufficiency has different aspects. It could be economic, it could be social, it could be emotional. What kind of self-sufficiency are you talking about, ma'am?
Yeah. But I also think I think we need to sometimes go back to the past to know where we are and where we are heading. So the idea of Swadeshi, for example, which was one of the key pillars of Sri Aurobindo's 5-point program that he put forward for independence. Everything that came after Sri Aurobindo retired from active political work, everything was built on those 5 points, and certain points were dropped, and we are paying the consequence of that. For example, national education was dropped. So our education is floundering still. But the idea of Swadeshi, what he talked about was also that how it is going to build our own capabilities. So he talked about the psychological aspect of that as well. And I was very happy to hear in Prime Minister's speech today, he talked about this very thing. And he was, of course, speaking in Hindi, कि आत्मनिर्भरता से हमारा सामर्थ्य बढ़ता है, हमारी कैपेबिलिटी बढ़ती है. So when we stop relying on our own inner talents and only rely on, okay, ye weapon chahiye, yahan se le lenge, semiconductors. He was giving the example of semiconductors. We did not develop in that line. So then we lose the capability also. So there is a consequence of not becoming self-sufficient as well, very psychological consequence of that. So how we can be that? By really becoming self-sufficient, by encouraging serious research and development. For example, he gave the example of semiconductor, but it can be anything, inner, outer, all realms. Educational. Today, so much of progressive educational pedagogy is based on deep insights from Indian approaches to integral holistic development and psychological well-being. Why is it that we have not been able to develop progressive pedagogy using that ancient knowledge and putting it in new packages? We have failed at that. And that's why we are again importing this from foreign pedagogues. So this has been again another failure. So we were not self-sufficient. We were not looking within to find gems from our own knowledge systems. So again, these can be very, very long discussions, but possible topics for future webinars, future satsangs, if you will. So, but thank you for bringing up that question. And before we invite Biswajita for the final musical offering, I think Balaji, if you would like to ask your question. I'm just going to close this chat window. Yes.
So
Balaji, please.
Wonderful speech, talks by my dearest friends Velu and Narendra ji, and first time hearing Charan Singh ji. and the wonderful explanations, and coinciding the birthday of Sri Aurobindo and Sri Krishna, Krishnashtami, that we had a special discussion, Beluji. And not only the dates, but even the concepts and ideals and spiritual it's not so same thing. I would like to add one point in the, maybe I'm an ex-student of Ashram 1976 batch, brought up in Ashram from childhood with Mother's Grace. I would like to add, not add, maybe pose a question to all, to ourselves, not only to you. India, after coming out from Ashram and meeting and working in, it's a little personal, in IT and seeing my colleagues and all, Indians have developed with thousands of years of colonization and invasion. We have lost one thing, is our self-confidence, and we developed an inferiority complex. Do you people agree with that? Because I personally experienced this inferiority complex. Even though we are more educated, more talented, and in IT, it is Indians composed apps that are running the entire Google, and still we have the inferiority complex that we cannot do, and we have to imitate or adapt. So anybody who is extremely good in these historical points, how to overcome this inferiority complex and overcome and boost our self-confidence. Without our self-confidence, why are we now, our startups not booming so much? We are losing on our self-confidence. That is from the IT journals I'm giving it. So anybody with the light of Divine Mother and Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna boosted the confidence and removed the illusion of Arjuna. So India needs that. We have to overcome our inferiority complex and boost our confidence. Please throw some light, 2 minutes from your reasons.
Okay, anyone would like to take this up?
Yeah, can I just add one line, please?
Yes,
I
yes,
know we are
please.
running out.
Please, Anaghaji, yes.
Yeah, namaste. What a wonderful satsang. I am really running out of words to praise you people. Super. But as we are discussing this self-reliance and things, maybe Sapta Chatushtaya and practicing the Sapta Chatushtaya given by Sri Aurobindo might be answer for every, taking small steps or being self-reliant or, developing the Godward consciousness, all that. Probably Sapta Chatushtaya, and it should be in some way or other, should be incorporated in the education, formal education. That is what I sincerely believe in, and that can be one of the profound answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beluji, I would like to add one point.
Yes, please.
Sister Sri Aurobindo amply reflected on this point, and with his brother Barendra Ghosh and through other messages, that India needs a new samurai, a new breed of original thinkers who are not thought-phobic, who are resplendent with new ideas, new lights, new thoughts. And there are his writings and his suggestions and his insights are full of these lights. But as is the case with Har Gobind Khurana, I have read somewhere that he was not given ample opportunities in India, and then he was forced in a way to go to America, and there he got Nobel Prize for medical science research. One answer lies with the corruption system in India, systematic corruption that curbs the talent. And there are experiences of different personalities that this corruption is hollowing India from inside out. So we have got enough confidence today. There are remarkable achievements in science, in technology, in engineering, and so many other fields. Recently, Beluji, one example, a post was running on social media that a Parsi brothers constructed a road in Pune in 1970, and that is still intact. But those brothers never got second chance, never got second contract. So in India, we build bridges in order to make them collapse as soon as possible. You know? So जब तक ये खत्म नहीं होगा, तो we are ruining our own country. We are ruining our own talents. Unless we address this fundamental maladies and this curse, we don't see that new thought, innovative ideas, startups will flourish the way they should. This is my take on it. Maybe Narendra ji would like to add something more.
But I think you again point out, this again brings up the idea of, that dishonesty, insincerity to our whatever work we are assigned. We cannot be all great yogis, but whatever work is assigned to us, at least we take that in the spirit of yoga and do it as honestly, as sincerely as we can. So that is going to build up confidence also, because we will be, from an occult yogic point of view, we will be poised on truth of the consciousness, and that itself is a great source of confidence. So yeah, Narendra ji.
About Bala Akka's question, why do we lack this confidence? Firstly, this colonialism that we experienced, 1,000 years of colonialism, first the Islamic and then the British. I basically feel we feel this lack of confidence because we are not sure of who we are. Our identity is not clear, and mostly it is mixed with the Western, worldview. We are 60% or 70% Western and probably 30% truly Indian or Bharatiya. It is mostly Western education that we are receiving, and our identity is hazy. It is a Western influence that we are having, and Sri Aurobindo warned against this, that we should not become a poor copies of the Western ideas, aping the West, and that is what we are doing. See, look at the socio-cultural scene of the urban India. We are aping the West in everything. Our own identity, our own culture, our own civilization, we are ignorant of it. And that is why this lack of confidence is there, because we don't know who we are. So let us first discover what we are, where we come from. 5,000 years of civilization behind us. So that is, if we discover that, then we would be sure of our footing. And of course, those insincerity and honesty, those aspects are there. This corruption aspect that Charan Singh ji just talked about. We build roads so that we can build them again after 1 year. So that's the thing. But first, identity. Who we are. Where do we come from? Didn't India exist before 1947? Recently, you heard one. I don't know how to put that. One of the politicians, he was saying India was born in 1947. It was all over the news media. He was saying India was born in 1947. That is the kind of ideas that are being thrown around now. India is a land, as a civilization, it is 5,000 years old. And this concept of political nation is new. 100 or 200 years, even in Europe. They were all kingdoms before that. And this person comes and he says India came into existence in 1947. So first we have to know who we are. And once we know that, the heritage, the culture that we have inherited, then we would become sure about our footing and we would move ahead with confidence. Yeah.
Okay, so Narendra ji, do you want to just bring the program to a close? Invite Biswajita to bring, do our last music offering?
Yeah. Biswajita would be offering her music, or rather devotional song, and a few words about Biswajita. Biswajita Mohapatra is a design and administrative assistant at Sri Aurobindo Society, Pondicherry. She works closely on the planning, coordinating and organizing of various programs and events designed and hosted by BhāratShakti. So we three of us, Meluji, myself and Biswajita, we work as a team. We sit in the same room and share a beautiful space. Yeah.
Namaste to everyone. मैं आज का जो म्यूजिक शुरू करने से पहले बस इतना बोलना चाहती हूँ। पहले से मैं सॉरी मांगना चाहती हूँ क्योंकि 2 दिन से मुझे बहुत जोर जोर से कोल्ड है, जो कि मैं बेलूदी को भी इन्फॉर्म नहीं कर पाई क्योंकि मुझे अंदर से ये बिलीव था कि आज मैं ठीक हो जाऊंगी, जो भी हो मैं ठीक हो जाऊंगी और आप सबके सामने ये म्यूजिक में ऑफर कर पाऊंगी, श्री कृष्णा श्री अरविंदो को मैं ऑफर कर पाऊंगी, ये मेरे अंदर बिलीव था। तो इसीलिए मैं थोड़ा ठीक हो गई और मैं आपके सामने पेश करने जा रही हूँ। तो आप प्लीज, अगर मुझसे कुछ भी गलतियां हो जाए तो प्लीज आप पेशेंसली सुन लीजिए।
अपॉलॉजी बहुत लंबा हो रहा है विश्वजीता, नो नीड, सिंसियरली गाओ, दिल से गाओ, दैट्स इट।
ओ काना, अब तो मुरली की मधुर सुना दो तान। मैं हूँ तेरी प्रेम दीवानी, मुझको तू पहचान। मधुर सुना दो तान। ओ काना, अब तो मुरली की मधुर सुना दो तान। जब से तुम संग मैंने अपने नैना जोड़ लिए हैं, क्या मैया क्या बाबुल सबसे रिश्ते तोड़ लिए हैं। तेरे मिलन को व्याकुल है ये कब से मेरे प्राण। मधुर सुना दो तान। ओ काना, अब तो मुरली की मधुर सुना दो तान। सागर से भी गहरी मेरी प्रेम की गहराई, लोक लाज पल के पर आना सज कर मैं तो आई। मेरी प्रीति से ओ निर्मोही, अब ना बन अनजान। मधुर सुना दो तान। ओ काना, अब तो मुरली की मधुर सुना दो तान। मैं हूँ तेरी प्रेम दीवानी, मुझको तू पहचान। मधुर सुना दो तान। मधुर सुना दो तान। मधुर सुना दो तान।
विश्वजिता बहुत सुंदर गाइले आपण।
What a beautiful way to bring this satsang to a close. एक गोपी, एक राधा की पुकार. So thank you so much.
विश्वजीता तुसी दिल जीता.
थैंक यू
I know. विश्व तो ये जीतती रहती है, आज दिल जीता है.
थैंक
Very
यू।
nice, very beautiful. I just
It was too good.
yes, thank you, and thank you
सुंदर,
Shanta Ma
बहुत
for starting us off with your beautiful rendition, beautiful music to begin, the whole program. I'm just so happy. Actually, I have to say this before we close. ये सारे प्रोग्राम का आइडिया या क्रेडिट या ब्लेम जो भी है विश्वजीता को जाता है.
Oh
So one
wow.
day she walks into
Great.
office and she says कि कुछ करें August 16th को. मैंने कहा क्या?
नहीं, ये मेरा काम होता है कि हमेशा सोचना कि क्या करें, कुछ तो करें। ये मेरा काम होता है।
And we have a very big workshop, actually 10 days program we are planning. 10 day नहीं चलेगा, 7-8 days है, with 400 children and 75 teachers in Bangalore starting next month. So we are really in the middle of planning all that work plus so many other things. But मैंने कहा अगर विश्वजीता करना है तो सब सोचो कैसे कैसे होगा, and that's how all these topics and everything came together. Just 8 meeting and then she took over, और फिर चरण
But
जी
I
को
think it
contact
was
करना,
awesome.
शांता जी को contact
Awesome
करना.
satsang.
I would
But-
like to especially thank Charan Singh ji. Charan Singh ji, it's always a pleasure. I mean,
Hmm.
having you with us and hearing you speak.
Yes. So
Thank you very
exactly.
much.
Thank you
मैं
so
एक्चुअली
much.
नरेंद्र जी को करेक्ट करना चाहती थी, वो बोले ना हम 3 जने हैं टीम में, मैंने अपनी टीम कभी इस तरह से नहीं देखी कि हम लोग 3 जने जो एक ऑफिस में बैठते हैं. एक हमारे साथ हैं सत्या, ही इज वर्किंग विद अस फ्रॉम
Right,
गुजरात.
right,
चरण
right.
जी हैं, बिजॉय जी, शांता माँ, असित जी, ये लोग सब हमारे साथ किसी ना किसी
अनघा
तरीके
जी.
से. सुलोचना दी, उनके साथ हम काफी काम करते हैं. नवंबर में वी आर प्लानिंग सम मोर प्रोग्राम्स. बाला दी हैं, अनघा जी हैं, दे आर ऑल पार्ट ऑफ आवर team. So we keep doing different things in different ways. So अच्छा है और लोग हमारे साथ जुड़े. And
Yes, one thing is remaining. Shanta ji, amazing music and opening rendering of the song by you too, Didi.
Yeah.
Super.
yes.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ananda.
So with this aspiration and prayer to Sri Aurobindo, Mother Sri Krishna, let Bharat Shakti be reawakened and let us, become the new India that Sri Aurobindo had envisioned. So with
Just one
that,
point.
let me thank
Just one point.
Yes,
I
yes.
forgot to tell about that song. It was a depiction of Rasa Krida by Narayana Tirtha. Because there was so much of sound here, so I went out to close the doors and all that. So in
Okay.
that commotion, I just forgot to tell about that. It was
Okay.
Satyam Jnanam Anantam. The Parama Purusha has come into the this thing for Rasa Krida to steal away. That's why I appreciated Narendra ji also. Same thing.
Yes.
That's right. That was a
Yeah.
Rasa Krida only. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Right, absolutely. So, like I was also saying, there is so much Sri Aurobindo has said explaining the work of Sri Krishna, because in a way he was continuing the work and we didn't have time to go into that. So his description of the Ras Leela, the gopis, who the gopis were and what that meant, it's just a Anand ka sagar hai, Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. It goes back to that. So we can continue and hopefully we'll have more such gatherings in the near future. So कई सारे ideas भी आज मिले हैं जिनको आगे लेके जाना चाहिए. So with that, I wish you all a very, very beautiful evening and relaxing Sunday. फिर मिलते हैं. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Om
Krishna.
Namo Shri Arvindaya.
Yes.
Om Mahamudaya Namo Namah.
Thank you so much. Pranam.
Namaste.
Bye-bye. Bye.